They spoke words no enemy could understand, not because they were secret words, but because no one outside their homeland could read them. In the storms of the Pacific, that language saved lives. This is the story of the Navajo Code Talkers. When the Marines stormed islands like Iwo Jima and Peleliu, radio messages had to be fast and absolutely secure. A single intercepted or delayed transmission could cost hundreds of lives. The U.S. military searched for a solution and found it in an unlikely place, among young men from the Navajo Nation. In 1942, the Marine Corps recruited 29 Navajo men to build a battlefield code. These were farmers and ranchers, brothers, sons, ordinary young men, who suddenly became the guardians of a language and, with it, the lives of their comrades. They worked in cramped tents and muddy foxholes, inventing a system of words and substitutions that could be sent and decoded in seconds. The code itself was simple in concept and brilliant in execution. It used Navajo words and phrases, many of them never written down, and assigned them to military terms and names. A word for an everyday object might stand for a tank, a plane, or a specific unit. They built a substitution system and memorized it until it was second nature. Radio operators on both ends could speak, listen, and respond in a heartbeat. Crucially, the code was never broken. Japanese cryptographers could not crack a language they had never heard and that few in the United States even spoke. That silence, the absence of understanding, became a shield. The battlefield proved the code's value. On islands like Iwo Jima, amid choking smoke and relentless artillery, Navajo Code Talkers kept messages flowing, unit positions, requests for artillery, casualty reports. Because they could work faster and with less error than mechanical codes, American units got timely orders and coordinated attacks that saved lives. Commanders later said the code saved entire companies from disaster. Yet the story is bittersweet. Many of these men returned home to a country that had tried to erase their language in boarding schools and public life. For decades, their wartime role remained classified. They carried both medals and silence. Only many years later did the nation publicly recognize their service, ceremonies, congressional medals, and the reluctant respect of an educated public. Their courage was not only on the beaches and ridgelines, it was in holding on to words and identity that others tried to destroy. In that stubborn preservation of language, they created something unbreakable, a shield made of speech. Remember their names. Remember their voices. Share their story. Because when history chooses to forget the smallest defenders, the ones who fought with words, we lose more than memory. We lose the threads that hold our past together. If this moved you, subscribe for more true stories from the forgotten corners of American wars. Links to primary sources and archives are in the description.